My name is Katie Coppins. I teach 6th grade science at Falmouth Middle School, and I was part of the team of teachers who wrote our RREV grant, which became the People and Places of the Presumpscot. I would say the biggest impact is that it's causing a shift toward more place-based learning, especially outdoor learning. We chose to use a good piece of our funds towards an outdoor educator who is Margaret Sobel, and I think that was essential to our implementation. So if we look at a day like today at River Point, there was so much organization of all of the community groups who are here presenting today, from Master Naturalists to Audubon to the Falmouth Land Trust to our own district, Farmer Justin. All that takes a lot of work. And so Margaret was essential in all of those processes, also ordering all the supplies that we have for today, the buckets, little things like thinking about that. But we really invested in having materials that would be ongoing. So we made nature backpacks, we've got magnet fishing kits, we have the buckets, we have a class set of umbrellas, and all of those are really setting us up to have this continue and also expand, that other grade levels and other subject areas have more opportunities to do this type of outdoor-based learning. For me, it's the biggest thing is the spark that you see in their eyes when they notice something new. We were just doing, every Friday we go out for what are called Fieldwork Fridays. So we have really leaned into this outdoor learning aspect of what we do, which has made it quite seamless to doing this unit. Because just like you're building routines and habits in the classroom, we've done that around outdoor education for our 6th graders. So it's made it much smoother, but they get so excited whenever they see anything. Just over there at the art activity, a student pointed out a snail that was next to me and got really excited and asked about painting that. When we're going outside, I mean, part of the fun is the unexpected when you're in nature. And for me, I've just learned to embrace that and pause everything. If it's circling up around something, we had someone discover a praying mantis. And so we stopped, looked around, pulled out our science notebooks and started drawing what we saw. And they were so proud to have seen something that almost everybody else had walked by. And that's great. It also helps build a connection with nature, and I think that's what leads to students being stewards for our natural environment, because that connection is there, that sense of place is there, and all of that is part of what we're doing, especially with this unit where the Presumpscot River flows through Falmouth. Yet at the beginning of the year, a lot of students didn't even know the name of the river or that there was a river flowing through. And now they definitely do, from the different experiences that we've had. You learn to go with the flow. You've got your backpack of all the things you might need. I have definitely taken an embrace the weather mindset, which also took some getting used to for my students. So unless it is unbearably dangerously cold or there is thunder or lightning, we are going outside. And they, at first, were like, really? We're like, we are. That's how we're going to understand nature more. And they've definitely gotten used to it. If you've noticed today, it's really hot. They're actually not whining that much. No. And I think that resilience has been building up by this routine of going outside every single Friday for our Fieldwork Fridays. And it's just an extension of our classroom. So they really look at it as part of what we do. It's part of learning as a student. And so I didn't jump right into Fieldwork Fridays. It was an ease-in. So I would say first try it. Think about an activity that you might be doing in the classroom. Is it something that you could instead do outside? So if you are using the metric system of doing measurements, instead, could you go outside and do some leaf rubbings and then measure those with centimeters and millimeters? Could you estimate the heights of trees using meters? Could you do work that you would be doing and just try it outside? And once you try it, you start to see it's actually really fun and the kids get excited about it. And then as your confidence grows, you can do lots of different things. Like we now go outside when we're doing fossils in our science and we're looking for tracks. And that's an awesome application of what we're doing in class to an outdoor setting. It just becomes part of what we do. And I think I've enjoyed the creativity of trying to figure out ways to take our learning beyond the classroom walls. And I've managed to figure out how to do it every single Friday. And so just try it. And then once you've gotten used to it, you'll get more comfortable. And then it just becomes a habit where I can't imagine not doing it now, just because it makes sense. It expands what we're doing, our learning, our understanding in a way that has so many extra benefits. Fresh air, being in the sun, connecting with nature, being a little bit less structured in the class. Like the conversations we have when we walk place to place, that's sometimes how I get to know my students the best, through those informal chats that we have. And there's just, I don't know, so much great that comes from it. But just trying one time, learn from it, reflect on it, and then try another time and see how it goes. have minimal memories of doing outdoor learning. I went to school in the 80s and 90s. I remember like field day and recess as outdoor opportunities, but I don't remember sitting and writing or even reading outside. It just, at least in my experience, I don't remember that. In college a little bit more. Every once in a while there would be that awesome professor who took class outside, which felt really mature and exciting that we were trusted to be outside. But I don't have my own personal memories of doing that type of learning. With my family, absolutely. With the culture at my home, it was part of it. I actually grew up on the banks of a river, and so very much connected to nature in that way. But to me, school was inside the classroom walls. That's how I pictured it as a student. And it's changing in a great way. 10 years from now, I first want to think about these students who are 11 and 12-year-olds. So when they're 21 and 22, at that point, they're moving on to that next phase of life, whatever it might involve. And what I think about first is, have they built a connection with nature? Who are they? How do they treat nature? How do they feel about nature? What careers may they have gone into? What problems are they passionate about help solving? And that's my first thing when I think about the future, is this class of students who are working so hard to engage with and to build that connection and that respect with nature. So for me, if 10 years from now teaching, I just hope it's continued to evolve and shift, that even more people are doing this type of learning. I would love it gets to the point that there are so many people wanting this space that we're having to figure out who gets what day, right? Like that would be really exciting to me if we're to that point. I would love to have community members joining us even more. I think it'd be great if like the school board was here to see what we're doing and walk around with us. We've been lucky that we've had really great administrative support throughout this whole process, and I think that's been essential to us writing our grant and then the implementation of it and the support for the outdoor educator position. So I think a shift in culture, that people are really seeing the value of place-based learning and showing that by giving teachers time professionally to develop the practice of outdoor education, but also giving funding to support that effort. So those are kind of all parts of the pieces that I've learned from the grant process that are essential in moving forward. I think when I reflect on the REV process, the part that I can't emphasize enough is what it felt like as educators to dream big when we were writing this grant. I mean, when we first met with you, Nick, right before we did it, you were like, okay, what else? What else? And we were just really pushing ourselves to imagine it, because I think naturally as educators, we think, what's the minimum we could do that would still have an impact? But this grant was all about pushing beyond that. And the fact that it was educator driven, this wasn't top down, like we designed this. We came up with the position for the outdoor educator. That's been really key to it becoming district wide. And there's something so exciting as an educator when you have that opportunity, where normally we're people who kind of make do with what we have and try to make the best of it. And to have this, it felt like a really exciting gift but we had such a key part in it. And designing it and thinking about it and imagining it and now implementing it. So I think that piece is just feels so special about this.
I think you heard I asked a student, we ask students, teachers, admin, 3 words to describe outdoor learning and what your innovation has done.
Oh goodness, 3 words. Okay. I would say definitely connection is the first word, and that's like connection to self, connection to place, connection to each other. So connection, I hope comfort. That's something over the course of the work. A lot of students at the beginning didn't know how to dress, didn't know, just weren't comfortable outside. And that's something that as it comes, I think comfort physically, but also within as you get more connected. The last one is just fun. I think it's fun to be outside and, like I said, get beyond the walls of a classroom and really look at it as an extension of the classroom, the outdoors. Because when you look at it that way, there's just endless possibility of what you can do out here.